Okay, I'll go ahead and get started. I'm not sure if this is going up or not. I always open up with that. Yeah, well, today's the 11th of December, 2022, and I just had to come on and make a few comments. I think it's probably appropriate to do so. Well, it looks like we're working. Thank you for letting me know that we're up and running. And I just two things. First of all, I have to be careful how I say things here and because they really do like to take down these videos when I make points that go against the powers that be. But I'm going to say this two things today. Well, three really. What do I mean by looking but they do not see? Well, I've been out and about the last couple of days, and I know people are busy shopping for the holidays, Christmas, and all that. But it's really amazing to me that as much as they look, it's obvious they don't see. They they hear, but they don't listen. Or maybe I should say they listen, but they don't hear. Um, so much of the population has been reduced to a narcissistic feeding of their desires and their consumerism that they can't see really the important things and what's happening to us. All of that goes along with what I've been talking about for a long time, and the 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 fish rots from the head down, and it's because of our leadership in this country, our political, military, government leaders, even corporate leaders, etc., that this disease has really eaten us alive and has turned us into basically already, without much else, robots that seek only for our own gratification. And the shorter term gratification, the better, by and large. Hi, Liza Jean. But I have two things in particular along that. So that's kind of a spiritual outlook as to why it's happening. But it's really nothing more than morality. We really do lack morality now. I mean, people might think that they're moral because they're going along with whatever the powers that be tell them, be it they're ecumenical, they're bureaucratic, they're government, they're corporate, they're whatever, leaders. But in fact, it's not that, because we're not holding any of these people accountable for their actions, and I mean the leaders. And here are two examples. Most of you, I think, should know by now who Lieutenant Colonel Teresa Long is. I brought her up about all of this stuff going on with the sickness some time ago, and how courageous she was, along with some of the other people like McCullough and Modet. I think you call it, say his name, Bacatera or something. I can't remember how to pronounce his name, but a lot of these people that have told us the truth about what's going on. And today, Colonel Long on Twitter put up a piece of information that came from, and I have to be careful how I say this, the prize people, the prizer people, the prizer people, okay? Especially the guy that heads that, admitting that it was all a lie, basically, that they didn't really operate it, they didn't really run it through the mill like they were supposed to. So I sent that tweet along with the information to several government agencies. Not that they'll do, yeah, I'm just not going to say it, okay? I'm not going to say the word here. As it is, this will probably get me in trouble. But regardless, that's the thing, and it's coming out more and more. The truth is coming out more and more, and yet the people responsible for it are doubling down more and more and more. So you can see, if you have immorality that's willing to sacrifice people's lives and health and welfare at that level, what are they doing to us in the way of propaganda every single day? And as I walk around, I see most people just swallowing it. What did we have in the country? Something like 60 to 70% compliance with the treatment. That's the first thing I wanted to talk about because that's really caused some problems. Again, as I've mentioned before, it's not just problems in our health that it's caused, but it's problems in our personal relationships because it's doing something to our psyches, to our minds, to our emotions, to our spirits. Yeah, Trump's still bragging about it. I know that. Like I said, he betrayed us many times before, and he'll do it again. The second thing I want to bring up has to do with this. Well, actually, there are a couple of things. The Second Amendment issue is getting more critical all the time. There was a major general, and I'm not going to say his name here, who came out and saying, "Oh yeah, there's no reason for us to have these AR-15s." And I've seen a lot of people say AR stands for assault rifle. No, it doesn't. It stands for Armalite. That's the name of the company that first came out with the idea. But regardless, he says he knows a lot about weapons of war. Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, he doesn't know anything about the Second Amendment. And if he does, and he realizes that the people have to have the means to protect themselves against the tyrannical government, that's not using muskets in our day and age. Okay? It's not. And unfortunately, we have people that have been promoted to these positions because they brown nose those who have Marxist and social Darwinistic ideas. Okay, that's why they get promoted. That's why you see Milley in the position he's in, General Mark Milley. So I could comment more on that. I'm just going to tell you that they're making war on your food supply. They're making war on your money. They're making war on your families with all of these new social ideas, and they're going to come. They're going to do whatever they can to make it hard for you to defend yourselves against their tyranny. Whether they do it themselves or they send people like, those different groups that came out, particularly in the last 5 or 6 years, 7 years, that ransacked the country. And if you protect yourselves against something like that, you're considered to be the criminal. And if you protect yourself against criminal government, you're considered to be a criminal, right? This nonsense that the FBI and the DOJ is putting out about who the real extremists are is nothing more than warfare on the majority of the American people. And we just sit here and we look, but we do not see. We applaud the persecution and prosecution of people that we really know nothing about, and we swallow the lies of those who are in power. So I wanted to bring that up, and then lastly, I've got to mention this thing about the Russian-Ukraine war. If any of you are paying attention to this, there's been a lot of information out about it now, um, and former German Chancellor Angela Merkel gave a speech where she admitted that the Minsk Accords, the Minsk agreements that were supposed to stop the expansion of NATO and not allow NATO to get into Ukraine or arm Ukraine, were nothing more than a delaying action by Germany, by Merkel, by the EU, by NATO, and by the US to give Ukraine a chance to get stronger, to rearm, because Ukraine was, and not so much now, although some things are happening because of additional things that are being sent there, but Ukraine was made to be the strongest army in NATO. I don't know if most of you knew that or not, but the Russians pretty much took care of that initially. But unfortunately, Putin believed the nonsense that the Western powers, especially the United States, puts out. Their lies are huge, and didn't really take care of things back in 2015 when he could have, when Ukraine was not strong. He believed the Minsk Accords. He thought that the West would abide by them. He should know better. We've never abided by any treaty or agreement that we've made, ever, unless it was totally to our benefit, right? But it was a sham, and Putin and the Russians, as has happened so often since even the Soviet Union times, believed that the West was being honest. I don't know if you all know who Paul Craig Roberts is. Paul Craig Roberts was a secretary of the Treasury, I think, or something similar to that under Reagan. Um, and he used to talk a lot about how foolish the Russians were to believe anything that came out of D.C. Any agreement, anything that came out of D.C., the Russians should have poo-pooed it and just not believed it. But unfortunately, they wanted to, which shows me who are the children of light and the children of darkness. You know, again, that scripture that says the children of darkness are wiser than the children of light, because the children of darkness will lie, cheat, steal, and figure out how to take advantage of you well in advance. Where the children of light, they want to believe that everything's okay. Father of Reaganomics, thank you. That's what it was. Father of Reaganomics. Very good. So, anyway, I haven't seen anything from Paul Craig Roberts for a long time. I don't know if he's still with us or not. No, don't start coming after Carrie Maude. Okay, now see, you're getting me turned. Why do you people do that? Who is this? Judith, you know what? The fact of the matter is that you probably don't have any information, really. Okay, there's a lot of crap on there. I'm not saying I totally trust her, but don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. She put herself out there, okay? God damn. You people, some of you people are just so that's what I mean. You see and you look and you don't see. You're so anxious to come down on a particular person. Did you put your name out there and put your life and your welfare at risk? Getting back on Russia. See, I can't get angry. I'm not your little soy boy, okay? I never have been and I never will be. You piss me off and I'm going to let you know about it. That's not the subject matter about that. It's about the fact that the establishment has totally screwed us all. And a person like Maude may have made a mistake, may have been out there to send us in the wrong direction, but frankly, I don't see it. Okay? I don't care. Yeah, there's some questionable things about her, but who doesn't have some questionable things about her? Yeah, I know about Richie from Boston. Okay? All right, fine. He was all pissed off because she gave him the cold shoulder. I really don't care. All right? Getting back on the Russians. As Paul Craig Roberts said, the Russians became the people that thought or acted. They believed what the West told them. They believed the lies of the West. And in Putin talking about Angela Merkel and her admission that, no, I don't want to call Richie from Boston Nephilim. What are you doing? Get off of here if you're going to be involved in this name calling, okay? That's not what we're here for. And that's the last time I'm going to address some idiot that makes some accusation off the cuff, okay? I'm giving you background information that you can use to logically reason through all this, and you're throwing this bullshit up there. Okay. Yeah, you're right, Liza Jean. But I still need to address them because that's exactly the perfect example of what I'm talking about is wrong with America right now and much of the Western world. So back on Putin. So Putin comes out and he says, you know, I made a mistake. I've believed the West. I thought that they were serious and that they'd abide by their agreements. And now Angela Merkel has come out and publicly stated that it was all a ruse so that they could get ready to invade Russia after Ukraine got strong enough to use Ukraine to invade Russia. It would have been the strongest military, and was actually the strongest military in Europe. The Ukrainian army. And now they got beat. The Ukrainian army got beat. The West is going, uh-oh, now we just want to prolong the war. That's all they're doing. They want to prolong the world war for the military-industrial complex and to shed your blood and your money. And finally, the Russians are saying, damn, we should have taken care of this bullshit in 2015. And yes, Putin, you should have. And when this whole thing started, don't think I'm a Russophile. But I'll tell you what, I have more respect for them as a country than I do our government and our people. And all you got to do is look around at what Biden's doing and the Democratic Party. And don't kid yourself, the Republicans too are behind this. Look at Mitch McConnell. They're all against you. And we're out here clapping, oh, let's go kick Russia's butt. Yeah, really? Well, they're coming after you next. And really, they're in the process right now. They want to disarm you. They've taken your food. They're taking your food away. They're taking your money. They're taking your land. They're taking your property. But they know you can still fight, so they got to take out your means of defense. And they're going to try it. Look at the ATF now. You know, because of Trump, I mean, they were doing this a little bit before, but because of Trump and the bump stock thing, now the ATF is just writing regulations with no congressional oversight. The Congress has fired itself, has taken itself out of the equation of protecting you and your God-given rights that are supposed to be guaranteed to you under the Constitution. The Congress has turned its back on you, both the Senate and the House of Representatives. The whole government has. Look at the FBI and the DOJ. Now look, I can't be here just blowing off steam. I'm trying to give you information. The bottom line on this Russia thing is that the Russians have finally awoken. And I don't mean, like woke culture. I mean, they finally understand that the West lies. And even Putin came out and said, we are an empire of lies, and he is absolutely right. I was saying that before he did. Colonel Douglas McGregor was saying that. And then people like General David Petraeus are lying pieces of you-know-what, who don't give a damn about your life. And as a matter of fact, they want to destroy the United States. Well, destroy America. And as I said before, Petraeus even admitted that a few years ago. He said there is no more Constitution. It's going to be the North American Union, Mexico, Canada, and the United States. Constitution gone. Well, I don't have a whole lot of respect for the Constitution. It's the Bill of Rights that I care about. I don't care if we're a damn monarchy. But that Bill of Rights has got to stay and violate. But they're after that. So my bottom line here is that I wanted to bring up this thing with Angela Merkel because we found out today, well, it's been going on for some time, that apparently the Pentagon is now okaying Ukraine to just attack Russia inside Russia anytime they want. They're saying Russia's the aggressor, forgetting all the agreements that were made since the 1992 time period, certainly about the Minsk agreements after 2014, the Maidan coup run by Nuland and the State Department in Ukraine to start this war, and the constant shelling. Yeah, the people of Donbass have been trying to protect themselves. And the United States is doing this because they're evil in D.C., ladies and gentlemen. They're evil. So Merkel let the cat out of the bag. And why did she do that? Why did she do that? Well, she's trying to walk a fine line because she knows some of this information is coming out, and she wanted to justify why she did it to NATO and to the EU. She admitted she fooled Putin. And isn't it funny? Yeah, she was bragging, right, Liza Jean? Isn't it funny that Putin's responsible for everything in the West? Everything in the West that happens, our money supply, our inflation, our food shortages, our transportation, whatever, they want to blame it on Putin. But Angela Merkel admitted that she fooled him. The American people are not going to wake up. I was walking around a mall yesterday and again today, and I can see it in their eyes. They look, but they don't see. They hear, but they don't listen. And narcissism and immediate gratification, entitlement runs rampant. Yeah, the Ukraine army is still getting wiped out, but the point is that they're going, the U.S., NATO, the EU, they're going to try to continue this war one way or another so they can rob you. Remember I said you're the target. You are the target. And they're coming after you. They want to take your money and they want to take your blood. They want to take your sons and they want to take your daughters. One way or another. Old Billy Goats, you know who I'm talking about, is already talking about the next big plan, right? And of course, we know about, let's see, how do I say his name so I don't get in trouble here? Let's just say anyway, I'm not even sure how to say it, come up with a different name for him. But he was brought before Congress, right? Not before Congress, before a lawsuit by the Missouri and who's the other state? Missouri, and there was another state attorneys general that brought Mr. Folke in for questioning, and his common answer was, "I don't remember. I don't remember." And he's in charge of course he does, but that's a lawyer trick. Everything that's happened, and he doesn't know. It wasn't his job. Uh-huh. I still see people walking around and outside in their cars. I just thought I'd pass on that information. I was going to do a short, but as you can tell, I'd never get this done in a short 2 minutes compared to we're already at 22, almost 23 minutes. So the three important things, they're still coming after you. They want to take out your means of self-defense because they're the evil ones that want it easy when they do it, okay? They're still pushing all of this other nonsense with the things that are supposed to help you. And the West, because of Angela Merkel, has finally admitted that they goaded Russia into this, and they lied to Russia in the Minsk agreement accords on purpose so that they could strengthen and rearm Ukraine so that they could be used to invade Russia. And now the U.S. is telling Ukraine it's okay to go ahead and fire deep into Russia. We're evil. We are so evil. I'm ashamed of our American military. Absolutely 100% ashamed. I wish I had never been there, and I wish I had to even help this ruthless, evil empire, even to an eyelash degree. It's shameful, and I'm not happy about it. And again, that's one of the reasons why I've decided to do this. It's one reason why I went to Bundy Ranch to watch what they were going to do to the people that make our food and the people that have land and they want to steal it from them so they can get their resources, their what uranium is on it or what minerals, or to sell it to the Chinese. It's why I reported on the Boston bombing the way I did, which got a lot of my stuff taken down. And the IC and the front vet companies companies to come after me. But I have to make recompense some way or another, and this is the only really good way I know how to do it. Oh, and don't think that my family isn't a little concerned. Of course they are. They're not real happy. My family and friends with what I do. Even my wife before she died, Carol, she'd say, Roy, the reason why you're having all this trouble, the reason why these things have happened to you is because you put your head up above everybody else, and so they were able to hack it off, right? Yeah, that's true. That's exactly right. But you know what? If you see evil and you don't counter it in some way, you're as guilty as the evil. And I was not going to be a part of that. And one of my first posts on my YouTube channel, which was called Resolution of a Former Idealist, I explained that. You can go back and look at it if you like. It was done in 2011, I think, right around January, February, or March of 2011. And I've abided by that the whole time. I read it out of my journal that I wrote. I've kept a journal all my life, and that was the portion that I wrote when I was overseas after 9/11, when I found out what was really going on. And I kind of knew before that, but even knowing what I knew in 2001, I still fell for the BS that comes out of D.C. and lying mouths like Dick Cheney, Donald Rumsfeld, and that ilk. And don't think that just because they're gone, there aren't people that have taken their place, because they have. Okay, I've gone on for over 25 minutes. I'll go get some other things done, and I've spoken my piece today. Those three things were what I wanted to cover: the ongoing efforts to get you to comply with the procedures, read between the lines, the attacks on your God-given rights that this government is sworn to protect, but which is becoming an enemy to those rights, particularly the First and Second Amendments, but all of them have been damaged, removed. Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment, etc. Look at the January 6 people. And the situation with Russia, that the West has finally admitted that they lied to Russia so that they could get ready to make war with Russia. That was the whole thing. And Russia wasn't any threat to us. They really never have been, actually. I could tell you the story about when I was working for NATO, what I found out. It's all been a lie for 5 decades. I'm out of here. We'll see you. Take care. I'm going to have to move this. Sorry about this, guys. Try to do this without making too much of a mess.